Jason with Brilliant Fishing today, and today we're not doing a podcast. This is a subscriber question that we want to tackle today, and it relates to using side planers along with, in conjunction with, lead core fishing line. Can you do it? Why would you want to do it, and what are some special considerations that you might have to consider when you're doing that? And then we're also going to talk about comparing these different styles of planer boards as you see here in front of me. So we've got everything from homemade to store-bought to like Cadillac here, you know, planer boards. We've got all of these different styles. Which one makes a good planer board for trolling lead core? It's a very different type of fishing. So we're going to talk about all that in this video today, but just to kind of start off with, let me just encourage you, if you haven't watched or listened to our podcast episode that we did here about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, with Captain Peter Malik of Bolo Charters. He's the guy that turned me on to using these side planers with lead core line, trolling those for striped bass. And so credit goes to him, you know, for kind of putting me on to this style of fishing. Since that time, I've actually experimented with some different types of planer boards. I've got one here that actually got from Pete. I've got a homemade one that I made myself, and then I've got this really cool store-bought outboard planer board. So these all kind of have their different you know, advantages and disadvantages. We're going to talk about that, and also the release clips that go with them. But anyway, if you haven't listened to the podcast, go back and listen to the podcast to talk more about actually the deployment of these and how those work. But simply put, when you run side planers, when you're doing any kind of trolling presentation, it allows you to put out more baits. More baits, more presentation, you're putting more baits and more fish faces, and that's just simple fishing math. You're going to do better when you can present more baits to more fish, you know, as you're trolling. So that's kind of the why of it. Another thing as to the why of it, you know, I think that when you get these baits out to the side, you actually do sort of hit those fish that might just sort of skirt off to the sides as you spook them with your boat. So that's something to consider as well. My personal opinion, I catch more fish on the side planers, you know, in those baits than I do the ones right behind the boat. Now, I've given this about, you know, maybe about a year of, you know, practice, just kind of trying this out, and that's what I think. I think I'm catching 2 to 1 more fish on the side planers of those baits than I am the ones directly under the boat. Now, we'll just see, you know, we can continue to gather more data on that if that holds true. But let's talk a little bit about some upcoming things here, and we'll get back to side planers. If you're a faithful watcher of this channel, you know that upcoming, you know, in addition to our podcast guests, we've got some more of those coming. We've got our subscriber fishing video coming up. We're going to be taking Chuck Haley out with Shane Walser, and we're going to do some crappie live scope fishing, so stay tuned for that. That should be coming up here during the month of September. October, we have scheduled one of our local District 6 North Carolina wildlife fisheries biologists who's going to come and talk to us about crappie fishing and the biology of the crappie, both in the Yadkin chain and also in the Catawba River chain. And so that's going to be kind of exciting. So again, stay tuned, subscribe. Don't forget to check us out on Amazon Music, Spotify, Podbean, and all of those platforms as well. But back to planer boards. So can you fish these things with lead core? Absolutely you can, with a couple of caveats. So a couple things. So first of all, let's just talk about how you hook it up. So the first thing you're going to do is, just like if you were fishing line behind the boat, you're going to let out your terminal tackle, let out your leader, let out a color or 2 or 3, however many colors of lead core you want to let out. And then you're going to take your side planer, of course, you put it through your clip, clip your lead core right here in your release clip, and then just send it out the side. So this is my port side, or, you know, left side planer board. I'm going to kick that out, I'm going to let that out, feed out another color of line, get that thing out away from the boat, maybe 20, 30 feet, and then I'm going to go ahead and click my line in, put it in my rod holder. Now, that will work pretty good if you're trolling, you know, artificials at, say, 2 miles an hour, maybe up to like 2.5 miles an hour. You start going faster than about 2.5, 2.6. These things, they start coming unclipped, okay? And so that's going to be the thing with any planer board. But I will say this, the lighter planer boards tend to do better in this type of presentation. Now, what we're using planer boards for here with lead core is not the way planer boards were designed to be used. Okay, these are more of a live bait fisherman's thing, but we're sort of taking that technology, we're transferring it to a different style of fishing, and so it's not that like every planer board is going to be a good fit for this. So, in my opinion, the lighter planer boards tend to work better, all things considered. So, like I said, I got this really light one, and this is just a piece of, foam, a piece of plexiglass, just a little, barrel swivel clip here, Scotty release clip, nothing fancy. These are pretty cheap. These tend to work pretty good. Like I said, I got that one from Pete. This is a homemade one, and you can actually make your own of these. You can get you a piece of pool foam, piece of some of that Gorilla epoxy. Split your foam, put your piece of plexiglass in there. Get you like a split ring and a snap swivel of your choice. Get you a bolt here, and about 6 inches. Put your lock nut on the back. Flatten the end, drill you a hole. I put a piece of shrink wrap tubing on here, shrinked it down. Scotty release clip, you can get these off Amazon. I'll link these below if you're interested in doing that. So if you just want like a cheap planer board that you can go out and just use with your lead core presentation, you can just make one if you got time to do that. So that's kind of some considerations. Now, again, the faster you go, the more likely all that weight is your lead core line and all your, if you've got an A rig or something, like the faster you go, the more likely it's going to be to snap out of those clips. The lighter your board is, the less trouble you're going to have. Now, having said that, what about using like one of these heavier boards? Now, I just got a set of these here earlier this year, some of these alpha boards, and I'm going to be the first to say these things are really cool. These things are tough. And they are practically indestructible. I really like that they're reversible. So you can take this thing, you can kick it out, make a left side board out of it or a right side board out of it. You just have to take your release clip off, push it through, you can make another side board out of it. Another thing cool about these is they fold up like this for storage. See, they're a lot easier to store. The only thing about these for this particular presentation, okay, because again, we're not using these the way they were designed to be used. But if you want to use these for lead core, these boards are heavy, okay? And so if you use the clips that they come with, and by the way, these alpha boards actually come with 2 different style clips. They got like a Scotty release style clip, kind of like on my other boards. They've also got the red with the little fingers that, I forget what that's called. For this type of presentation, neither of those clips work for me. But what I did was I liked the board so much. I like the toughness of them. I like the collapsibility of them and all of that. I said, I want to make this work. So what I did is I actually got a different style of clip. And so I don't know if you can see this, but it's the type, like right here, and I'll link them down below if you want to do these, but these are the kind that you can tighten down by hand, and you can actually, there's a screw, and you can sort of set your tension a little more precisely. And then you just put your line in there, and you just use this little swivel clip to like pinch it down in there. I will say that this right here seems to work really well. Clips, and I'll link these clips down below. These are very inexpensive. If you've got a heavier board and you want to try to make it work, and it keeps popping out, just try changing the clip. Just get a different style of clip, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how that will work. So, that being said, planer board can be a great addition to your striper trolling arsenal. They've been used for years by live bait guys, but you too can put these in your spread. So anyway, I wanted to thank Tyler for that question. Appreciate him reaching out, and so we could kind of talk about that and connect over that topic. I always love meeting subscribers and talking about fishing. If you have fishing questions, like you want to know more about trolling artificials for stripers or crappie fishing or whatever it might be, send us those questions. A lot of those questions I won't have the answer for, but I bet I know somebody that does, and so we can reach out and get your questions answered. Also, if you've got any fishing pictures, you got some recent catches that you'd like to share, send those in to us. We'd love to spotlight some of your recent catches here in North Carolina by putting those either in our YouTube videos, post them to our social media. We love connecting with subscribers, seeing what you're catching, so send those in. And with that being said, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And this is Jason Brilliant for Brilliant Fishing, signing off.